Good Erev Shabbos. This week is Shabbat HaGadol. It's the great Shabbos, the Shabbos before Passover. Very special time. But today is also a very, very special day. Because today is the birthday of the Lubavitcher Rebbe. The man who had single-handedly lifted up the Jewish people after the infernos of the Holocaust with a message of positivity, with a message of unity, with a message of love, unconditional love. And today, there are thousands of Chabads just like ours all over the world in every corner. And since October 7th, it's become even more important in a world where Jews feel so alone that in every corner there's a lamplighter, a messenger of the Rebbe that is dear to light the way for them. I was blessed and I grew up at the Rebbe's feet. I had the opportunity for the first 17 years of my life, or nearly 17 years of my life, to have that tremendous impression of the Rebbe's positive eye, love for every Jew, and unconditional commitment to the future and continuity of Judaism. But it's interesting, because I want to tell you something that connects to Passover and to the way the Rebbe saw things. You know, it's interesting. There's two big times of the year. There's the high holidays and there's Passover. Now, the high holidays has a whole build-up. We have the month of Elul. We start blowing shofar. Then we have Rosh Hashanah. And then we have the 10 days of Teshuvah. And then we have Yom Kippur. It's like there's a preparation to that holiest, solemn day of Yom Kippur where we're going to ask for forgiveness and reconnect with the Almighty. It doesn't happen in a moment. It takes its time. But yet, by Passover, although we all shopping and making brisket and cooking and buying matzah and cleaning our homes, there is no preparation for Passover. In fact, the word Passover means to leap over. We go straight into Passover. The moment we start, we sit down at the Seder without any preparation. We speak about freedom. We speak about lifting up. Afterwards, we have the time of Sfirat Omer, when we count the Omer, and so on. The question is why? The rabbis tell us there's two ways to connect to God. One is through outside in, slowly building up, slowly growing, preparing. But then there's a way where you jump over and leap over the table and leap over every obstacle and dive right in. And the Rebbe gives an example of what's called l'chatchila riba. Imagine you come to a table and the table's in your way. There's two things you could do. You could either try to go around the table, try to go under the table, and then if that doesn't work, you jump over the table. But as the fifth Lubavitcher Rebbe coined, there's something called, the fourth Lubavitcher Rebbe, there's something called l'chatchila riba. You see an obstacle, you jump right over it. That's what Passover is. Passover is the time we became a nation. Passover is the time that we were born as a people. And at that moment, the Jews were so steeped in idolatry and paganism and promiscuity of Egypt that there was no time for bottom up. There was no time for slowly building up to the moment of receiving the Torah. It had to be immediately Passover, where God had to lift us up and take us out of the grips of Pharaoh. Afterwards, we worked on that inside, that preparing ourselves. But the miracle came from above. The Rebbe's view is the same way. The Rebbe always felt and saw the world as the way to tackle it is to jump above, to overcome the obstacles, to do things in a way. You know, those people once came to the Rebbe and the Rebbe said, why don't you teach other Jews? And he says, I don't even know the whole Aleph base. And the Rebbe said, if you know Aleph, then you teach Aleph. Why should the student suffer? Don't wait till you know base. The moment you know, teach. I heard this remarkable story about this couple that were about to get married, and they came into the Rebbe. When they came into the Rebbe, after they spoke for a while, the bride-to-be asked if she could have a private moment with the Rebbe, and the groom left, and she went in to the Rebbe, and then he came back in, and they got married. After they got married, they went in the yichud room, the private room, after you get married, and the groom now asks her, the husband says, tell me, what did you ask the Rebbe, and what did the Rebbe tell you? And she said, although it was a few days before my wedding, I asked the Rebbe, I wanted to break off the engagement because I felt that there's something that you don't know about me. I have a terrible temper. And I felt that it would end up breaking our marriage and end up in divorce. I said, I want to just break it now. And the Rebbe said to me like this, get married, you're going to have children. And the children are going to bring out your kindness and your patience. And you're going to overcome that anger, and you're going to be happy and live a happy life together. And in the meanwhile, till those children come, go work in a home of orphans or in a hospital with children, and that will help you with it. The Rebbe felt the way to deal with a challenge is not to succumb to it. The way to fix it is by impacting others. The way to fix it is by reaching out to someone else who needs help, and through helping them, you'll fix it. Don't go under, don't go around, jump over, pass over. And that's the message of this time of the year. You know, we're living in crazy times. We all watched what happened in Congress with the president of Columbia University, deja vu of MIT, Harvard, and Penn. And the same day, the anti-Semitism that was raging on Columbia. It's a crazy world, and we can say, how are we going to deal with it? There's so much anti-Semitism. But what the Rebbe taught us through his abundance of love, what Passover teaches us, is l'chatchila riber. Passover, go dive straight into it. Then later, we'll deal with working with it. Have the courage, have the strength, have the positivity. Because Yeshua's Hashem clarifying God's salvation is like the blink of an eye. And through everything that I witnessed, in the time that I was merited to be by the Rebbe, that's what I saw. Unconditional love, unconditional joy, and that message of always diving in, bottom up, not slowly going top down, not going down up. And I'll finish with one story that I might have shared with you before that's always impacted me. Is one time this guy came to the Rebbe, and the Rebbe asked him, the Rebbe wanted him to get more involved in outreach and inreach to help another Jew. And he said to the Rebbe, but, I have my family, I'm busy. And the Rebbe asked him, in Judaism, the right hand is always more powerful. The right is always more powerful than the left. But yet the greatest thing we have is our heart. But our heart is near our left side. Why? And the Rebbe said the reason is because when you face your fellow, it's at his right side. And you have to be there to have heart for someone else. So Passover is Monday night, and we'll speak about it again on Sunday and Monday. But make sure you reach out to someone who's lonely, who needs some love, some TLC, and give them that embrace, give them that message of Passover, where we dive in to the message, to the blessings, to the miracles that God will show us. May it be speedily nowadays.